They can make us a sandwich. Never really eaten since breakfast.
Oh God, I'm not really very hungry actually.
Can't just not eat, bro. I was looking forward to all that strange food at the country club they got. Crab legs, like a whole roast pig. Didn't there something like pad thai and reno? It's a crazy mix.
I think I successfully destroyed Christmas Eve. They've been in there far too long.
Preparing the attack.
Stay so neutral.
I said I was neutral. Still trying to absorb it all.
So you support me.
I didn't say that, did I? Look, I haven't read the whole thing, but enough. And you have the right to publish anything you want, pretty much about anyone, whether it's decent or cool or not. And you have the right to push back whether it's decent or cool or not.
You're like Mom. It's like you learned chess in her womb and have been playing against yourself. Everybody else is a pawn.
Well, what do you want me to say? Sure! Old boy says sure! Art comes before life!
No, that is the worst kind of oversimplification.
But you kind of think so. And so you have to accept the consequences of art over life, which in this case is likely to be losing the trust of the people you love. For these opinions, these bewildering portions of these people who seem totally unrecognizable to me.
Well, maybe with your powers of observation.
Well, maybe you want to let me finish since you asked. All right, opinions. You turn Henry into the saint of the 70s, all patchouli and innocent questioning and reacting to this stultifying oppressiveness of these waspified GOP zombies in the next room. But it seems to me that maybe he was just really, really sick and fucked up and needed a lot of help. I mean, he was hanging out with these mad bombers at the very least. I mean, Christ, I was 5 when this happened. And reading it made me feel guilty. Mom and Dad, you don't think they blame themselves?
They let him go. They wouldn't help him. They kicked him out.
But did they let him go, or did he just fly off in a rage and fury? It seems to me that you're looking for an apology. Well, maybe they have apologized and you just haven't heard it.
An apology? You don't write books because you want apologies, Trip. You write books because of who you are. Person who writes books. The only obligation I have is to myself, to write it. That's about as far as it goes. I'm not a publicist, I'm not a hagiographer, I'm a writer. And this is my flawed version of what happened. I did not come here to be blackmailed and censored by 2 people who lived very public lives and then hid in the desert.
All right, A, I don't need to lecture on what a writer is, thank you. But B, it's just a story. A story you've told yourself and will now share for fame and wealth.
Don't say I'm doing this for money, Trip. I don't care about the money, you know that.
Yeah, because you're rich. And even if you don't take another cent from them, which is not entirely true because they paid for that fancy hospital where you camped out in Cambridge for 6 months.
I wasn't camping.
You're rich, you're smart, absurdly white, Ivy League, New York, and your parents are rich. And you know it.
Well, what about you? What are you, a Zapotec Indian?
Look, the difference between you and I is I don't use my 16 dozen different little sicknesses for gain. You do, and it's just who you are. I mean, you think being a depressive makes you special. Being a depressive makes you banal, and in your case, hard. Not easy to be with.
That's not fair.
Fair? Well, neither is Love and Mercy, a memoir. And look, I worship you. I totally do. I love you. But this is true what I'm about to say. So suck it up and take it, okay? And don't interrupt. Okay? You think because you had a breakdown that you've earned some kind of free pass here. You think because you couldn't function and you didn't care to eat or brush your teeth or wash your hair or even speak sometimes. And you thought for a while you were going to follow Henry down the trail to off yourself. And you think this gives you the right to paint a picture to the world of these people who who failed in almost every possible context. As citizens, as parents, as humans.
Figured it all out, did you, Dr. Wyatt? When you weren't cooking up jury of your goddamn peers?
Brooke, you want to be a little bitch about my TV show? At the very least, have the decency to watch it first. You don't think you're like those people on Oprah?
Don't talk to me like Mom talks to Silva.
Mom talks to Stilda like she loves her. And as for me being like Mom, well, you're as hard as fucking stone and as good at chess as anyone I've ever known. You don't get that from Dad.
Look, I accept that you can't recognize our parents as I have written them, that time has changed them. But can you accept that I have been as honest in my depictions of events that you weren't really aware of as a kid?
I never said you were being dishonest. Let me ask you a question. You're working on that manuscript. Did you give it to Silda? Because I can smell her tone a mile away, and if I can, you better bet Mom can too.
Yeah, I mean, she was there for most of it.
Yeah, she sure was. She's like a goddamn baseball bat, tipping Mom and Dad over the head with how shitty they were to Henry. What do you think Mom's gonna do to her sister when she finds out Silda was goddamn deep throat for you?
I needed someone else's eye.
Yeah, Brooke, I know. But you've made the story better, and it added a lot of very specific detail to paint you as the victim. You and Henry. But it doesn't mean you're a liar.
Please, Trip, just back me up. They've listened to you over all others, really. I mean, if you could just say, it's okay in that way that you have, because I'm not gonna back down. I won't do it. And they're just gonna have to learn to live with it. Please, Trip.
Okay. So here are my assignments for Christmas. I gotta get Mom not to send Silda out on an ice floe, because that's gonna be her first instinct. So no ice floe for Silda. Second, I have to get our parents to give you permission to publish a novel that paints them as right-wing sociopaths whose ideologies destroyed their children's lives. Who am I, Rudolph the goddamn reindeer?
You do have shiny nose.